Hey, it's Angie with News OK.
And Sherrel.
She is our passion for food columnist for the Oklahoman. Today we're talking about herbs, which I don't know a lot about, but she actually has an herb garden and loves to obviously plant and grow all these different herbs that you can use in food. Now at the end, before we get into that though, at the end of this video, make sure you stick around because she's actually going to show us how to make some herb bread.
A really simple herb bread.
Very nice. So yeah, tell us what herbs we have.
Let's start with some that you can grow from seed in your yard.
Okay.
Now this is fresh dill, and I clipped this off this morning, and it's just long stems like this, and you want to kind of keep it clipped. So I'm looking for things to do with it, and you can strip it like this.
Wow.
We do some that eliminates the tough seeds, and then stems, and then you just cut like so. Or you can use it as a garnish for something.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. It does. This is another one you can grow from seeds, and most people are familiar with this because you're starting to see it a lot in restaurants as a garnish on things. And this is fresh basil, and I just love the aroma of this. You can make pesto with it, which is sort of garlic and olive oil, and that sort of thing. Now, there's a really great way to slice up little juliennes of fresh basil, and I just stack up the leaves all together like so, and then we just roll them up like this.
Interesting.
Now you could spend all this time chopping like that, or you roll them up and then you just slice across, and you've got little strips of basil leaves to garnish with. Oh yeah.
Gives you more to work
with. And I'm just
with.
holding, look, I'm holding my fingers against the knife like this, so makes it really easy. No, I just keep them pointed straight down on the edge of the knife, so it goes. And you've got these wonderful little pieces of basil.
Yeah.
Garlic chives, and these are just long chives. They're great for, as you know, garlic for adding to your baked potato, the chives. And these are a little more coarse than the regular chives, but I thought I would show them because they're similar.
And can these all be in the same type soil in your garden?
Oh yes, yes. These are the ones that I'm showing you that grow so easily in most anyone's backyard.
All these
and
herbs?
these, I just line them up, yes, and just cut and make little tiny strips because they're already naturally very slim. You can make little pieces like this. The next one are two kinds of parsley I want to show you, and I usually buy these from a greenhouse already started plants, although you can plant these from seed also.
Now these look different.
Right, this is Italian parsley or flat leaf, and this one has, I think, a little bit more flavor. And then some people like this one with the curly leaf, and there's several varieties of curly leaf parsley to garnish with especially, which is nice. And this one is nice. I just kind of put the parsley in a big pile and just keep chopping away at it. Just kind of stack it up and keep going to chop it up. And my mother and I used to make tabbouleh, and we would literally put our parsley in the blender with the liquid ingredients and flip the blender off and on several times. But I kind of roll this up again like that, and I just chop like this. Well, it helps you get through a lot of herbs quickly. What else I brought is, this is a beautiful herb. Yes, it is. Right now, the sage in my yard is blooming. This one lasts. The parsley is a 2-year herb. In other words, you can get 2 years out of it. It comes back the second year. And then you need to replant. This is sage, and here are the leaves. This is what we use. Unless you want to garnish with a sage blossom in your soup or a salad, you can just pull these free of the little blossoms, and you have all this pretty little purple stuff, which is kind of fun to run across in a salad, I think. Some people may not like flowers in their salad, but I do very much.
Do you like the taste of it too?
I do. You know, the Italians like to dip this in kind of a very light batter or not, and just drop the leaves in and saute them in olive oil.
So the leaves are really what you eat, not
the
the little
leaves
flowers.
Are really, yes. But the flowers are edible, and that would look really beautiful on some butternut squash bisque or something like that, I think. Then this is oregano, another favorite Italian herb, although it's used in a lot of things. Your pizza wouldn't be made necessarily without it, and I've washed all these earlier. One way you can get at the herbs is to simply strip the stem like so.
Nice and easy.
And then you've got the leaves, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on how delicate the stem is. Some of the stems are not as firm as these.
Sure.
And you wouldn't want to use the stem in your spaghetti sauce. That might get a little tiring. And again, we're just going to chop it up like we do the others. This is rosemary, and this is I love rosemary with bread, or bread and butter, or bread and olive oil.
Definitely, definitely.
You can
Once again,
you can
just
strip it like that. Sometimes it comes off easily, sometimes not so easy.
Okay.
If it doesn't, you can get some scissors and just sort of
There you
give
go.
that little thing a haircut. One thing I like to do too is if you're grilling, you can make a little shish kebab on
there
this.
you
You could,
go.
and it's great with like scallops
Right.
or chunks of chicken
Right.
or steak. A couple of herbs are terrific, and we're not going to put them in our bread. This is Kentucky Kernel Mint, and this is just
Wow.
awesome to put in iced tea or
Very
lemonade in the summer. And I don't usually chop that up, although it's great to chop up and garnish a fruit salad.
Oh, nice.
No calories
you
added,
go.
but it's a nice garnish.
Very nice.
And the other one that I sometimes use is lemon balm.
Oh.
Again, it grows, and these come back year after year. They're
Wow.
perennial herbs, and these will flourish in the shade as well as partial shade. So if you
Great.
get a little bit of sun and not so much, but they also
Right.
spread.
Nice.
So you
Oh.
might want to make sure you've got
Watch
a
it.
nice
Yeah.
firm border to go around. And then one other little tiny herb that I love to use on occasion is thyme.
Oh, yes.
And see how delicate it is. It's a little harder to strip the leaves, and yet you do if you just squeeze ever so gently. And chopping is just not needed. Now this tender part of the stem, you can add it to the mix, see? And I'm going to go where the stem starts to get really soft, but below that, I can just strip it off. Now we're going to take these herbs that we've chopped up and make a very simple casserole bread.
Okay, so in front of us we have the makings for the
Right.
herb bread. Tell us what
We
we do.
do. This is lukewarm cottage cheese, an egg,
Okay.
and then we're going to have, I always like to add a few chopped onions.
Okay.
And of course, we have to have our chopped herbs. And we have, I decided to add a few sun-dried tomatoes all chopped up.
Okay.
And those are in olive oil. So we have a little bit of olive oil in our mixture as well. And I'm going to mix that around. I'm going to add yeast that I've dissolved in a little bit of water. And then I'm going to add flour till I get a nice dough. And the flour has a little bit of salt and sugar in it.
Okay.
I'm just going to put about half of it in, mix it
colorful, I
up,
can tell.
and then add a little more. Now the one that I made that we're going to sample that I made ahead of time is one that's a classic, the dill bread, but that kind of inspired me to use a lot of other herbs and make some different varieties of bread made with the cottage cheese in the bread and that. So it's so good. You could almost use it as part of your lunch. You could make sandwiches out of it. You could make
And if you don't have an herb garden, you can purchase herbs.
Oh, you can purchase herbs,
And
but
make
it's so much, if you have a little edge of a flower bed, you can
wow.
sprinkle some basil seeds there. If you have, and because a little
nice.
package of herbs is like $2.99, and you can buy the plant for probably
Very nice.
less than that and have herbs all summer.
Oh,
So
that's great.
it's something that I love to do. And this is just kind of a casserole style bread. So we just put just enough flour in. I measured about the maximum out. And then we put just enough in to
Gets
make
a little
the bread
tougher to stir.
cohesive. And then that's sort of done. Put this bread into the dish, like so.
That's nice and easy for sure.
Yeah, that's all you do. And it goes in here. And you cover it with a tea towel, not terry cloth.
Oh,
Just
right.
something kind of plain tea towel. And let it rest for about 45 minutes. And then you pop it in the oven and cook it.
Nice.
And then after it cools, you can slice it.
Wow.
It's good the next day.
That's
the
fabulous.
herbs make it taste really great. So that's really all you have to do.
That looks great. That looks
to make
great.
it. Oh yeah.
And so here is the finished product. These are some slices of.
Oh yeah. This is the dill bread.
Yeah. Oh,
I
wow.
like the dough too.
That is fabulous.
But this is a dill bread, so you may want to taste it. It's
Yes.
pretty good.
very nice.
Very easy. So,
It's fresh. You can tell.
so plant some seeds, grow some herbs,
There you
and
go.
enjoy all summer.
And this recipe will be in your food
Yes, it
column.
will.
Okay, so check out the Oklahoman in the life section. Sorry, my mouth is full. And go to the Passion for Food column, and you will see this recipe and also just good tips on how to have an herb garden.
Yes,
Thank you
we'll
so
have
much.
a growing guide for you.
There we go.